the 22nd of July 2020, 9 past 7, and I'm just sitting in. I start with the location. I'll give you the location, the Sea Org spec. So I give you the location of where I am. I'm sitting in front at my desk on my chair in front of my laptop, and I'm just in my study room or my library, in other words, which has been rearranged again. The table, the desk is more or less the table, rather the table because it's quite big and stable, is where it used to be when we were in communication. And I'm just wondering how I should talk to you, because I do feel like going into this, oh my god, Georg is back. What an inspiration. Or whatever of the kind, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. Still, I have heard that all traces of my presence, of my, I don't remember the exact wording, but anyway, all traces of my presence in Scientology have been removed. So I'm here to let you know that not quite. And I'm not sure what to do about it. You have somewhere there's a good Capitan because he has intervened. So actually, the initial fury that was to go into this presentation has been dissolved. But nonetheless, we have a few points to go through, especially that I want you to know that all traces of my presence in the Sea Org and in Scientology by no means have been removed. And you know, the most important trace actually is the truth. So if you have any faith in what you sell, then obviously you are perfectly aware of the fact that you cannot erase the truth. And the consequence will come. I'm not going to be very disciplined. I'm just looking through all those papers, seeing what I have here. Well, there are some tickets of International Association of Scientologists, free introductory membership, but oh, here it is. Finally, I can be precise about it. Date of issue, the 7th of February 2002. Organization AOSH UK. Advanced Organization signed here, UK. Right. So here it is. What is that? Dear Miss Royek, oh, the ticket to Budapest, traveling on the 25th of January 2003. Finally, I have the date too. Okay, let's go to the most important things. Guess what I have found? You won't believe it, but I have actually found something totally amazing. And the something totally amazing says, on the 30th of August 2003, Dear Agnieszka, how are you doing? Your fitness board turndown has come back approved and is now being issued. Attached is your copy of it. Let me know if you have any other questions on the cycle. Much love. I'm not sure who that is. Perhaps it's... I'm not sure. Perhaps it's Beate, but I'm not sure. Director I&R. I'm not sure what IRR is. Advanced Organization signed here, UK. And let's see what we have enclosed. The canary or orange sheet, Church of Scientology. Okay, I've gone into the tone after all. Well, because you have no idea how surprised I was to find this document among other documents. So AOSH UK EO 4034, the 27th of August 2003, RTC UK, SMO UK, SLO UK, AOSH UK, Fitness Board Turndown, Agnieszka Rojek. Actually, it's not a document because my name is written incorrectly. I mean, it's not a document concerning me. A fitness board was held on Agnieszka to determine her fitness to be a church volunteer staff member. Her personnel, ethics and other files were reviewed, and she was found unfit for volunteer service at this time. Agnieszka volunteered for service at AOSH UK in May 2003. However, so as to be able to assist AOSH UK, she would, when asked to serve as a member of the EU Tours team, she refused to do so, and insisted on going back to Poland. The board found that besides this, she also demonstrated that points 11b to E of HCOPL 11 November 76 RB I or 1 statistics change HCOs and quote definitions were out. Therefore, she is not qualified to serve as a CO member at this time and has an FB turndown per policy 1 and 3 of FO 2627 RD. SO acceptance and leaving policies revised. Her return program, should she wish in the future to become a church volunteer staff member of CO member, is as follows. 1. Pay free loader bill. 2. Full PTS handling including auditing as needed. 3. PTSSP course. 4. Training up to class 4. 5. FPRD as determined by case supervisor, C/S. 6. Approval from IJC to return to church volunteer staff. Fitness board AOSH UK authorized by LRH COM AOSH UK for Church of Scientology Religious Education College Incorporated, INC, approved by D/IJC for Eastern Hemisphere. And there's no signature in handwriting. So, let's go directly to this point. Rush to the capital. On the 2nd of July 2003, PCO from Agnieszka Rojek. CSW. I don't remember what it meant. Situation. I need to go to Poland to restore ARC with my mom. Data. I am on a dwindling spiral with my mom, which is destructive to her. She still communicates to me, but in her last letter she wrote that she did not know what to say not to cause harm to me. The unhandled financial situation is re-stimulating for her. Waste of money for a flat that is not being used. And throws her back into the past, poverty in childhood. It is urgent. After I talked to the D/CO last Friday, I told my mom that I would be coming at the beginning of July. I said that was needed to the D/CO as well. It is needed, in capital letters, to be handled immediately. Solution. I get a liberty to go to Poland this week for 10 days. It is very underlined, capital letters, okay. And there's neither approved nor disapproved. There's the communication. Dear Agnieszka, I want you to sort out your cycle with ethics first. The original agreement was that you go when you have attested your course. Let's get this done. I guess it's much love. I can feel the love. PLO. No, PCO. So this concerns directly the point mentioned. Now, how to not get lost in all that. I believe one sheet is missing. Let's see what we have here. We have staff greeting, anniversary, 15th anniversary of the maiden voyage, new RRH OT essential lecture series and the premier series in 15 languages. Here you have an educated Titan, a Titan who knows enough to handle the problems of the mass universe, knows enough about universes to handle his own, and knows enough to protect and handle his own universe when he has one. And knows enough of the track and what happens in the mass universe so that it can't happen to him again. So this is a special executive directive. This is a special event, I believe. Beingness, a lecture given on the 11th of May 1952. And where do I have it from? Well, I'm not sure. Probably something was happening too. I'm looking for the write-up by Gabor, which I cannot find, and I believe it has disappeared. But let me check again. Perhaps I will find it after all. It can be in some other file. I have a few files. Oh, there's another dispatch. That's an earlier one. Oh, you see, this is also important. Dispatch. Dear PCO, this is to the PCO, HCO Expeditor Agnieszka Rojek. I don't remember what HCA Expeditor meant. On the subject of my going from the 29th of June 2003. On the subject of my going on tour, have you checked the legal situation of Polish people working in Germany, Austria, Switzerland? These are the countries named as the ones I'd be touring. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I need visa, that is work permit, for working in Germany, and I think it may be the same with Austria and Switzerland. Much love, and my signature, A. Roy. Dear Agi, Astral, or something similar, your future senior, will know this as much he has been touring in those places. Much love, PCO. So I don't have the program write-up from Gabor, I think, unfortunately, or I have it in my documents as well. But I have some other ethics sheets, and I have the list of people. So we have photography, reception, hostesses, registrars, consultants, recruiters, postulate seminar, and finally I remember what my senior was, what my senior's name was. So this is Mathilde Shepard, Then there's Gabor Kover and Fiona Kover, his wife, registrars. Gabor is from Hungary. Kover. And of course we have, correct me if I'm incorrect, Sarah Langley, Langley, who is Daniel Malik's Malik wife. And Daniel Malik is the EPFIC, so the person responsible for all the EPFs. EPF stands for Estate Project Force. Am I correct? Anyway, what I have here, there are other names here too. Of course, there's also Grazia Clarkson, recruiter. She's the one who caused my breakdown. However, I'm not sure if she should be held responsible, unless she could be held responsible for not being able to make independent decisions under the pressure from the executive officer, because this is Hugh who was behind it, I believe. So Clarkson, quite a simple name, but Clarkson. And there's the name of John Hungreaves, something like that, Hangreaves, with whom I was talking about daffodils. And he actually, oh no, he's not. Oh, is it the, oh, I must have confused the Johns. Oh, perhaps he's the top auditor, the best auditor in the world at the time. Right, he might be the one, but I don't have the information. I have his name elsewhere, but I have taken the documents elsewhere. Anyway, what do I have on the other side? Bridge, training, auditing, and SEO training, knowledge. So you know, that was Beatrice, if I remember correctly, Benedict Garcia, Quercia, who approached me as the first one. She let me go and come back to the course, which Gracia did not do. Or was it someone else who was explaining that to me? I think it was Benedict. So you know, you have normally you have the bridge and you have training and auditing, but you can also have the SEO training, and then this goes up with knowledge. And what do I have here? I have the triangle, ARC triangle. And at R we have purposes, at A we have freedom, and at C we have barriers. I'm not sure if that could be attacked as verbal text. Anyway, just showing you another proof of my existence as the Scientologist and a SEO member. Now, let's get some, it all starts with Eva Lefebvre, Lakeside, with whom I was staying to do my volunteer minister course. Lakeside Cottage, Newlands Farmhouse, Grinstead Lane, East Grinstead. RH 19 or RHI 9, 4HP, Elf's Room, £8 per night, and that's the telephone number, but perhaps I will not give it. And that's the earlier Anke Schubert's. 833 95 Freilassing, Germany. And there's email box. So what do we have here? We have the 2nd of June, July, excuse me, the 5th of April, the 23rd, the 26th of March, and now without the date, what is it with the dynamics of existence? EPFIC. So it must have been on the EPF, but, well, another one without the date, another one without the date, the 3rd of, so the 3rd of January 2002. So this was before I arrived there and got recruited to the Sea Org. The 5th of April 2002, the 3rd of March 2003, the 17th of January 2003, and that would be more or less all. And I have the letter to Kenny from the 10th of September 2002. Perhaps I will read it to you later. So let's start with these ethics and other communication points. January, April, January, March, two 2003, here I have something concerning my mom. So let's check this first, because it might have come together with, no, actually it seems to be from a different person. So let's see what I have here. Agnieszka Rojek, ethics program. Call mother, 1. Call mother and set a time and day to call every week. 2. Keep in calm with mom, writing and phoning, giving her reality on the EPF and CO. Apply fair road, fair weather as well. 3. See senior personnel officer or EPFIC to drill the handling of mother's hysteria or sadness. Senior personnel officer, UK. Hysteria. I think it's also 2003. EPFIC, yeah, this is the EPF. Alright, here we go. You know, I had a problem with doing the touch assist because it says feel my finger. And my public MAA, Howard Scarrott, or a similar name, SCAROTT, I think. One of the few university graduates, probably Oxford, I think, or perhaps not, had a theory about it. But actually, I was being stimulated. Someone can say that it was me. No, it was not me. Someone was working on it, and from the perspective of time, it's quite obvious. I'm not sure why I have not taken here my cigarettes. I was just about to light a cigarette. Wait a minute. I'll be back in a second. I need to get my cigarettes. Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, here they are. Good. So, Agnieszka Rojek, Ethics Program, the 26th of March 2002. 1. Study HCOB, pain and sex. 2. Essay. Give 2 specific examples of where an otherwise able person gets fixated on sex. For each example, state what happened to the person as a result. Would you like me to give you the 2 examples now? 1. A Sea Org member triggers the person purposefully by tutti flowing or stimulating private parts. 2. The person is connected physically to a person who is active sexually, for instance, a prostitute. What happened to the person as a result? Well, what do you think? Some have not gone insane. 3. Study column P of Chart of Human Evaluation. 4. Study from Handbook for Prickliers, Act 13, paragraph on masturbation. 5. Write up what you understand from the above data and how you can apply it in your life. 6. Do a first dynamic danger condition regarding irregular 2D situations and masturbating. 7. CMAA. So we go to April now. The 5th of April 2002. 1. Clear up amuse from crimes and high crimes in ethics book. 2. Rewatch Sea Org film and clear muse. 3. Read forms, clearing muse as you go. 4. Watch orientation and sign form. 5. Complete write-up. And from the same day, ethics PGM or PSM. 1. Read and do the appropriate condition for this situation. 2. Go to the course room and see the supervisor. Take your ethics routing form with you. At the time when I was getting it, I think I understood all those abbreviations. So I think we go to the EPF and Sea Org. The 2nd of January 2003. From PCO to Agnieszka. Dear Agnieszka, complete PTS handling with EPFIC. 2. Ask EPFIC to have some time after dinner master to complete your cycles. 3. Make a list of your incomplete cycles. 4. Get back in the course room. TM Sunday. PCO. Okay, I have found something that was earlier, but I'll leave it for as the last one. Anyway, the 3rd of January, no, the 17th of January 2003, to Agnes Rojek from no, it is actually regarding Agnes Rojek. Oh yes, this is to ethics from CTO and something before CTO, but I don't know what it really is. Qual ethics cheat. Agnes Rojek, EPF. Today I flanked Agnieszka. One what is it? What can it be? Check out, of course. Today I flanked Agnieszka on a checkout because of a comlac. She got upset about this, and I showed her the reference. Oh yeah, it's difficult to read. I had the supervisor give her a feather, to do I'm afraid I won't be able to read it. Anyway, which she has studied. Perhaps I can read it afterwards. Let's see what I can read more. Then when I came to see her again, this evening, she told me she has I cannot read it. She has in disagreement with the flank. And since then she has been going slower. She has locked out to go to the bathroom. The same as she did when flanked earlier. This is case on study and is not okay. This is true. Paul and I cannot read the name either. Anyway, obviously I was on this course. And this is, of course, the CEO training, that is the EPF training. No, it's not obvious. Well, but the supervisor is from the CEO, so this is the CEO, this is the EPF room, the EPF course room. Paul Burns or something like that, Burns, I'm not sure. Ethics section EPF. Sup OTL, Supervisor OTL. The 3rd of March 2003, ethics sheet. Agnes, CC, column, EPF, Agnes, via EPFIC, via STO. Agnes came more times late for course. For some days she has problems with her unit and method. She has to handle them and keep the study rules. This is true. She originated that she would have problems in her home Poland too. So I believe this is already Budapest. Yes, it's Budapest. There's something written in Hungarian on the other side. Budapest and the Roman letters Margot T.U.33. Here's another with a date. The 2nd of July 2003. Agnes Rojek, whole word clear. Bekonia, Ahmendi, KR, Agnes Rojek. This morning I saw Agnes smoking and drinking at 9:29. And I'll continue after I pick up the phone. Hold on. Alright, I'm back. Cigarette. The mug where I need to get rid of the unthinkable salivation or whatever it is. It's quite disgusting, and you can see what they have put into my throat by looking at what is in the mug. I need to carry it with me wherever I go and have it at hand all the time. My milk. And here we are. The 2nd of not August, the 2nd of July 2003. Qual word clear. Belonia or Begonia or something like that. Ahmendi or something similar. KR, knowledge report, Agnes Roy. This morning I saw Agnes smoking and drinking at 9:29. I told her it was production time already and shouldn't be doing that. This is the 2nd time that happens. Last week Emilia, the examiner, told her to not do that in production time. Was also at 9:20 to 9:25 a.m. But she doesn't seem to change. This is true. Much love. Bagel or something similar. Here we have another one. This is from the EPFIC UK. So Daniel Malik. What a handwriting. Oh my God. Like a poet, writer. Ethics program. I mean the signature. Read the dynamics of existence. Page 12, ethics book. Demo out each of the dynamics. Read Honesty and Case Game, page 34, ethics book. Write an essay on how you could apply this. Read You Can Be Right, page 53. Write an essay how you can make others right. Read and demo out the definitions, page 167, ethics book. Read The Antisocial Personality, The Antisocial Personality, The Anti-Scientologist, page 173. Demo out each of the 12 characteristics. Write an essay on what is the relief from the antisocial personality. And we go back to the first dynamic danger formula, which is key. So this is the first dynamic danger formula. The first dynamic danger formula I got after arrival at St. Hill in February 2002, when I started my volunteer minister course. And I had problems with studying. I believe they needed some data on my overts and withholds so that they could use it when needed, because I was clean when I arrived, so I shouldn't have any problems at all. But once they had the data, they could pass me into study. You know, the particle moves from one place to another, and there must be the exact sequence at which station you do the exact thing that is wanted and needed. So I came up with the first dynamic danger formula, and let's have a close look at it. This is the key formula. For your knowledge, the technology specifies that you cannot go off the first dynamic danger formula because it can have lethal consequences, deadly consequences. So you can go off other formulas, but you cannot go off the first dynamic danger formula. And the idea is you do one step, after you complete it, you do the next. You don't skip steps. 5. I'm not sure why it's written 5-1, but anyway. 1. Get on the gradient that it's nice to be on. 2. Get all the possible news you may have in the area of Scientology cleared up as you proceed on the course. 3. Complete the volunteer. Perhaps this is only because this is step 5. Excuse me. Also, I don't have the all of it, but this is the key. These are the key steps. Okay. So get on the gradient that is nice to be on. This is 5.1. 5.2. Get all the possible news you may have in the area of Scientology cleared up as you proceed on the course. 5.3. Complete the VM course, the Volunteer Minister course. 5.4. Get briefed on what the actions you'd like to take involve. 5.5. 5.5. Get oriented with regard to your life for now. 5.6. Get all the data you need to achieve your immediate purposes. 5.7. Excuse me, perhaps this is not the first one I have written. Excuse me, I might have misinformed you, because the one I have written, I believe I mentioned sea order. But anyway, this is also valid, because this I don't have it. Oh, I should find that. It's not really how I wanted it to be presented. I have it somewhere, but I'm not sure where. Let me finish reading this. So once again, 5.1. Get on the gradient that is nice to be on. 5.2. Get all the possible news you may have in the area of Scientology cleared up as you proceed on the course. 5.3. Complete the VM course. 5.4. Get briefed on what the actions you'd like to take involve. 5.4. 5.5. Get oriented with regard to your life for now. 5.6. Get all the data you need to achieve your immediate purposes. 5.7. Make a good personal plan. And there's the note here from someone from the Sea York, admin scale. 5.8. This is actually the handwriting of the PCO. No, not the PCO. Who had such? There's the handwriting somewhere earlier. Senior personnel officer. Yeah, it's the person. 5.8. Have a look at the translations area and see if you need to do something about it. 5.9. If yes, get briefed on what and how, and only then do it. Give me a second. I'm afraid I won't find it now, but I think what we have is enough anyway. The point is that I must have the documents elsewhere, or perhaps someone has stolen them. Anyway, time for the letter to Kenny Gray. The 10th of September 2002. Dear Kenny, bad news. You have to practice thought reading a bit. Know what is he going on about passed through my mind as I was reading your letter. In fact, it was pretty alive, and it's true. I liked the fact that you shared a bit of your thoughts with me. Second bad news, please. Obscuring flowers or mountains? Well, here you go, dear. No, you'll have to do without nice writing paper. No, you'll have to do without nice writing paper and be satisfied with nice envelopes only. Anyway, you may also enjoy my favorite types and see how well educated I am. No spelling mistakes. Good to use a computer with the spelling checking program to write letters from time to time. The smiling face. I'm glad we established the mutual sexual attraction. Kidding. But it's flattering too. I'll tell you a secret. It's pretty good to obstinately stick to this run. It saves a lot of trouble of getting involved otherwise. I've been always very much attracted to the opposite sex, and I've been always playing this game of attracting and repelling, which is the most stupid game I can imagine. I mastered it at one point so well that my friend, one of those who wanted to marry me, said that I was able to seduce any guy I wished. Somehow I cannot recall that, but when I was writing it, it must have been truthful. The time was the most aberrated period in my life. 3 exclamation marks. At one point I said, no more. As soon as I returned from St. Hill, I was in home with my Canadian cousin, who, apart from being very attractive, has had quite an experience in the area. And she gave me this advice of the reach and withdraw thing, which was of course very well meant. And you know what? I realized it's the last game I want to play. I know the reverse flows principle working in this universe, but I don't agree to it. I wrote her back an email saying that I will not play this game with a guy with whom I am to spend my life. The reason is very practical. It takes attention and time, and I have too much to do otherwise to go into this 2D game. She replied that I would then have to find OTA, and I said fine, I'll wait. You know, I am very honest in my feelings, thoughts and attitudes. Sometimes I am wrong in not being able to see what it really is. But once I discover it, I get it straight. It's sometimes a bit of trouble to the people around, but it's truthful and produces amazing results sometimes. It's the receiver who is able to take it or not. And to be honest, if one cannot, I consider the one as much of a loser as I am. Whatever big something there is in between, once both persons can honestly talk about it, they can live with it. And it's on the basis of my experience. Only the greatest ones who make it are my friends. To others I am still a friend because that is my general attitude to them, but I don't treat them exactly as my friends. They simply don't pass the test. It's an observed fact. Some time ago I felt so bad about having the feeling that I am going through all sorts of tests all the time. Pretty frustrating, and even more with the university education, which is good to have but may produce a lot of harmful effects. At least it did in my case. The worst is the trap of intellectualizing, what I call now intellectual phone beating. That has made many of the nice people I know go mad. I could hardly make it through the last year of my studies because of that. Unbearable. Capital letters. But after a few years, it sort of soaks through you, and then you have to be on your guard all the time. Anyway, that's why my university friends are so difficult to reach with Scientology, which is a pity really, because each of them is a potential translator. Would be great to have them in my team. 3 exclamation marks. That's more or less my comment on being practical versus being academic. So, having had this academic past, the feeling of taking one test after another in life as well was very frustrating. But then I started liking it really very much. And what I observed next was that I do as much testing myself as I am going through, if not more. Funny how the perspective may change. 3 exclamation marks. Additionally, I am not only testing those around me, I'm testing myself as well. Though I am sometimes a bit slow on getting it, that I was doing it. The truth is, I needed this run with his no. I needed this untimely York cycle with the Gracias, Bennis, and others. I needed those sexual reactions running and driving me completely mad. Well, I even needed to go mad. Troublesome as I was, gee, what progress I have made. The final blow was the possibility of not qualifying for the CO. For some reason, that was like death spiritually to me. I know it may sound blown up a bit, but that is exactly how it felt. But then, Kenny, I made it through the possibility as well. You see, the difference between a person getting in trouble for sympathy and me is that I was getting in trouble to overcome things that were stopping me. And now I am certain that whatever would hit me, that was serious. And now I am certain that whatever would hit me, I may not stop it in time with gentle no as yet, but I will still be there. And even if I fall for a while, it's temporary, and I will stand up bigger and with much more power. Whatever barrier there is, I will overcome it one way or another. That was a very violent journey, but certainly worth taking for the results. I'll tell you how I imagine a saint to the relationship. I don't want to marry for sex. I don't want to marry for love even. Both I can have with any person because I am able to produce both sexual attraction and love in abundance, if I will. In fact, each of us is. Of course, with some it comes naturally. You say you are more interested in the Titan, which is great and nice to hear. But let me ask you something. Who made the attractiveness and the body? I think it just goes like that. So, what I really want to marry for is a symbiote, a perfect match. Now, I am sure Ron is a potential perfect match, but what comes in is the test. If he were the perfect match, he would get married. If he were the perfect match, we would get married and live happily ever after. No reach and withdraw game needed, because my perfect match would not need the game. You know what I mean. All the same, I'd rather you didn't call him geekhead or geekhead, even in joking. Anyway, I'll tell you one more thing I've realized recently. The urgency of the whole thing. It's pretty simple. I feel at home at St. Hill and I love it so much. In brackets, well, emotions and attractions at work still. That I desperately needed a 2D so that I could join at St. Hill. You see, survival factor. But now, from the perspective of time, well, it was the simplest solution for sure, but not the best one, I must admit. But that I will share with you in a moment. What came through my mind yesterday at night was, unbelievable as it may sound, that now I want to join at St. Hill because I know the guys there need my help more than those at Flat. I know it sounds terribly immodest, so don't pass it on. The situation as it is for today is that I received an answer at last from the DSA, and it was just a confirmation of what I had known but needed to have stated by a professional, having a look at my passport and family tree. I still have a question mark on how come that people from Poland may be employed legally for other professions on the employer gathering adequate documents and helping them make it on work permit, all in agreement with law, but I'll not be going into it now. In short, I am not qualified to join the Sea Org at St. Hill on the point of not being able to work in the UK. I can tell you what it looks like from the Polish perspective. It looks very much like they don't need staff that much. And just imagine me answering this. I have no clue what I should answer my friends, my mom and others who cheer me up constantly. I'm not so much interested in the answer why it is so myself, for it starts looking like our puzzles gradually start forming at home. Now I have the certainty I want to help this team. Though to be honest, from the very start the team has done a lot to get me discouraged. It feels sometimes like some crazy game with confused sides. Anyway, it does not really bother me too much, for it's actually quite funny. When you take an upper view, basically every bro and every new barrier produces a positive result in one or another sphere of my influence. So it serves my purposes very well. It's quite an exciting time. Still, as far as backing off goes, well, I have the same attitude to it as I have to this reach and withdraw on the second dynamic. I refuse to play it. I need an efficient group. I need an efficient group of some symbiotes. And I may surprise you a bit, but the way I see it really is like it's great to have found a group that will help me to achieve my purpose. Changes the perspective a bit, doesn't it? Confusing? No, very easy in fact. Some symbiotes, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, actually I can check it, but basically it's in the world of nature when, for example, the rhino and a bird are symbiotes, if I remember correctly. So each gets something from that and they help each other. However it may sound to the whole world, I'm here on this planet Earth to help all those creatures to get out of the shit. I had this funny something one day. I was sitting on a low wall, facing the street and cars passing, waiting for my friend. Well, it was after an amazing experience with a kid, which was a very funny cycle for me really, because it was so simple and it went like this. I was sitting on a bench in a park smoking a cigarette. A little kid came to me and said, "A flower I have." And I said, "You have a flower?" And the kid said, "Yes." And I have no clue what happened really, and it was so funny, for his dad apparently did not even notice we have this comb. But the kid certainly did, for as he followed his dad, he kept on returning to me. I mean turning back, and then I just hold up my hand, but not really waving. And he did not and he did not reply immediately. But then after some time and a few looks in my direction, he did. And it was really like magic. And I think there must have been magic in it, for after that I had kids literally running to me. The funniest was on a bus, a little girl all smiling and giving so much joy to everyone around. And we were beaming at each other so much that when her mom had to get off the bus, she had to take her and carry her, and all the time she kept the beaming contact. We both being there on the bus and all smiles. It was so funny that the people on the bus and the mom were all smiling as well. Can you imagine that? Anyway, as I was sitting on this wall after the kid and the flower experience and looking at the sky, I had this unbelievable whatever it was, but it went exactly so. I'm sitting here and trying to sort out what we have all messed up. That was confusing me a lot for a very long time, and I still don't know what the hell it was. But it must have been pretty good, for it sent me flying for many hours later on. The amount of energy I received then was beyond what I could ever imagine to have. So whatever it was in perfect agreement with what I had been holding as true through this lifetime for myself. For a long time I was phrasing it as saving the world. You may guess the reactions I was getting to it as a kid. Later on it was called idealism. And I was passing through all the stages of my education. Primary school, secondary school, university, teaching. There was always a person who would say this idealism would pass one day, and many who would say never lose it. And I knew idealism, or whatever you may call it, that it won't. It was growing stronger in fact. But when you take a different viewpoint, it's not idealism really. It's very practical. Do you have a choice but to save the world? So it's not really only other people's happiness motivated urge this joining the Sea Org. It is exactly the group that will help me achieve my purpose and fulfill my personal mission. And only then will I be really fully free to leave this planet Earth really. End of the cycle. Now it feels very much like you would probably think, what is she going on about? Well, just opening the door to my universe in it. Okay, let's look around what's going on this piece of planet Earth that Her Majesty is occupying now. The smiling face. I have a nice friend, and she's very sexy. Kidding. But I'd like you to meet her one day. Her name is Agnieszka, too. She's doing her OW's right up now, and she gave me a bit of don't be nonsensical read yesterday, and moved me up to thinking creatively again after I had quite a fall on receiving a letter from the DSA. As she kept on this hurry up and go to this side here, and I kept on my butt and the cycles I need to complete, and generally me being all negative and her being amazingly positive on the whole thing. Brackets. Well, she's not really in favor of me going to the Freewinds, and thus reaching the point of our potential co-editing group consisting of two persons now, her, herself and me, living for the CEO. Brackets. And her not really willing to spend her life in this funny country, Poland. So I said, help me to find people for this group, and miracle. Five or six exclamation marks in brackets. Exclamation marks in brackets. She said she will. Once she is back from Ireland, where she is going at the end of the week. Otherwise, I am still fumbling with translations. Not really, but too many distractions. Feels sometimes like those computer games where something is running straight at you and you need to handle it immediately, otherwise you've done on that game. No, it sounds worse than it really is. In fact, I feel pretty good. It might be that I will indeed look for a job, but for financial motivation only. Kenny, you know, I've been always pretty active. My initial list of the people I'd been neglecting, or should be ideally, had more than 50 names. I have not completed it as yet. Also because somehow once I went into having those social meetings and comm lines reestablished, the number of people was constantly growing. It's also quite a variety, ranging from more or less 50-year-old teacher friend from the school teacher days to my teenage friends. And for that matter, I have to meet all the kids that came in my friends' families, and let me count, they are well more or less 10 altogether. Okay, some I may not meet, but would be nice too, so that they know this auntie they met when they were kids was pretty nice, and she was a Scientologist. I even have this early doc lady whom I met on a train last year, and I sent her a book that seemed to me to be exactly a book for her, and she took all the effort to get my phone number and called me back. And in short, she is looking forward to meeting me in Warsaw, where she lives. If I were a rich man. I haven't made it to my MA thesis supervisors yet. You may ask, why should I? Well, because I promised I would stay in touch. I was holding a student's representative post for 2 years. Have I already boasted about that? In brackets. So you know, you're not talking to a person who suffers from scarcity of comm lines. The fact is, I am so used to having lots of them and the variety as well that I feel something must be wrong if for a while it seems like I have only one friend. You may guess how weird the St. Hill experience must have been to me. But I must say I have developed special liking for face-to-face, one-to-one meetings now. The sacrifice of quantity for the sake of quality. Kidding. Exclamation mark. But because my financial situation is pretty scary when you look at it in terms of flows, I feel like I should do something about it, especially in the light of not being able to join the Sea Org now. Oh, I forgot to say actually that one of my two neighbors living next door drew my attention to the fact that Poland will be in the EU in 2004 or 2006. And brackets, unless our extreme Christian party's influence increases to more irrational heights than it has already reached. Exclamation mark. And Britain has not made any claims on not letting Poles work there after joining. So you see, in 2004 or 2006, brackets, and you may help by making a postulate that it is 2004, hyphen. Hopefully will be more successful on this one than on the wrong thing. It's the smiling face. The purpose is certainly worth it. Three exclamation marks. I will be allowed to work in the UK legally, for I'll be holding the EU passport. Anyway, the DCA suggested checking with the CEOG management unit in Hungary, and I must say I don't have the least interest in whatever concerns Hungary, and so no affinity for it whatsoever. But I have bought a mini compilation of the most used expressions, which apart from a thematic dictionary is the only material for learning Hungarian available on the Polish market. And it's really a crazy language, and I already know how to say a few words in it. Tongue twister, really. The worst thing is that there are no tapes available, so I have to rely on the pronunciation suggested by Polish letters used to express it, and from my experience I know it's hardly reliable really. Anyway, Hungary is just a possibility, but it takes longer to learn a language than make a decision. And this language seems so nutty to me, and Scientology is doing so well in Hungary that having a bit of it may always prove useful. It's exciting, though I suffer from the lack of learning materials. Really, you're doing so many interesting things in your life. I mean, even outside going up the bridge. Good videos sound great, and I feel like enforcing an invitation for myself to see at least a few of them. I love watching movies, but I don't do it too often. I must say I like light movies on the whole. Well, hard to explain in fact. The top one of personal value in fact was Matrix, of course, and generally I'm very much uneducated on movies, but I like watching them all the same. Anyway, I think I asked this question before, but I was much more aware of Ron with his repelling flaws at the time than of where I was, and I don't remember the answer. So what sort of movies do you like? What movies have you got yourself? Maybe I know at least some of the titles. I am very happy that you are doing well on the course now. Three exclamation marks. And a couple of weeks away from the halfway stage. Wow! Four exclamation marks. As I said, as your fan, I have written FUN instead of FAN. I'm a chigger, totally devoid of my royalty. Two exclamation marks. And royalty with the capital letter. So what do they cheer actually at the sports games? Kidding. This is really a great big piece of news. Capital G, capital B, capital P, capital N. I got it on a selfish person. Thanks for letting me know. The smiling face, four exclamation marks. Well, if he said that he was selfish, surely it had not arrived as I did not understand it as I should have understood it, which is why I got it on this lifetime having been difficult. I'm sure you will win on it after all and make it on OT, and the next one will be as you want it to be. I can tell you what I have lost this lifetime for sure. I lost the ability to be an MAA. The shit I got myself in is unbelievable to me, but somehow I did, and I am sure I want it clear how come and do all I can not to look at the MAAs with admiration and respect, but to be able to become one next lifetime. I have not lost the ability to be a SIOC member at least, so it's pretty well done so far. Exclamation mark. Kidding. Well, in fact they, brackets, not at St. Hill but on the ship, want me to start, I quote, now, capital NOW. You should see the number of exclamation marks I receive in the emails from them. Exclamation mark. But I like those guys from St. Hill and ... I wouldn't really like them to lose me. And the man, with the when you lift heavy things, you have the special device for practicing. So such a man standing with it, his hands up, is here. Sia sexy, her major. No comment.